What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. We are live on YouTube, X, and Rumble. You can also check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. Got that community growing like a weed. Really excited about the content we're creating over there. We're joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk some Packers, and we got I think some good topics tonight. I know there's a lot of people ranting and raving for mock drafts. We may do one at the end. We set a goal. Look, if we hit it, if we get close, we might do one if we got time. You know what I'm saying? So if we hit it, we'll definitely do it. You guys will hold our feet to the fire. But there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about, guys. One is wide receivers, right? And kind of narrowing it down to who is that wide receiver that the Packers should be targeting. And I did it with a little bit of a spin of, all right, what was one of the negative caveats of the season last year for the Packers? We all talked about drop passes, right? So we're going to dive into some of the prospects who has the lowest drop percentage. And then also we haven't been talking about 3-tech near as much as we have when we started going into the draft season. And the reason being is we're kind of switching it up. We're trying to bounce around and look at all the different needs, all the different approaches. And obviously, it's always going to come back to 3-tech for me. I was very, very vocal during the season. I know Tim was as well. I'm sure Jacob agrees. We got to improve that interior defensive line, especially with Kenny's future up in the air next year. Shout out to Chris M with the first super chat. There you go. That's 1 of 10, baby. 1 of 10. We get to 10. We'll do some mock draft.
Get ready to go.
Let's get into some content here. Put this article together. You can check this out. And also, guys, if you're already on the Patreon group, you'll notice a collections tab. All right. That's not a debt collector. Okay. That collections tab, what that is you can click on it, and every article we created, I go ahead and log them into certain folders. So like if you want to go back and look at defensive tackle prospects, as we get into training camp, if you want to look at what are the top training camp battles, there'll be a section for that. So it's just a way to keep those organized. And of course, when you land on the homepage here at Patreon in our group, you'll see the latest articles that are written. Okay. So what I did was, which defensive tackle should the Packers select at pick 23? Now I'm going strictly off of our board in terms of narrowing it down to 3. And the 3 that I picked, because I think we would all agree, it's going to be, it's highly unlikely Mason Graham is going to be there when we pick at 23. I think we would all agree with that, right?
Yep.
Next on the list is Walter Nolan on our big board, then Kenneth Grant, and then Derek Harmon. Okay, Derek Harmon in the 25 spot, Kenneth Grant in the 19 spot. And then, of course, we had Walter Nolan has now jumped to the number 15 spot. So I took those 3 defensive tackles and just did a little breakdown here. And what we're talking about are 3 key components. And listen, there's a bunch of different stats, a bunch of different analytics we could look at. I tried to narrow it down to 3. And let's kind of look at it and see who we think we would rather have. Just like last night with the wide receivers, guys, before we look at the article, I want to know who is your all's pick between those 3. Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, and Kenneth Grant. I'll let you go first, Jacob. Which one, right off the cuff, when you mentioned those 3 names, you had to pick one at 23. Who would be your guy there, man?
Walter
Nolan. Got it.
Sir. Yep.
And for the longest time, we were all on Kenneth Grant, right? I was on him too. Walter would be mine as well. Tim, would you prefer a different one, or do you think Walter Nolan's your guy as well as we go into the study here?
I'm going to be boring. I'm going to say Walter Nolan as well.
Yeah. It's wild too, because like that's the guy we started with. Shout out to Brambo. Thank you for the super chat, but I think that's 2 of 10. When we started off in this process, it was Walter Nolan, and we kind of started to steer off of him, right? It's funny because there was no more football played. It wasn't like he tested bad. It wasn't like there was anything that went wrong for him, but all of a sudden you had these other couple guys that seemed to have leapfrogged him. But let's jump into it here. And I try to keep these short and sweet. I'm trying to get better about that. I think more information is better than less, but I don't want it to be too wordy. All it says is the Green Bay Packers head into the 2025 NFL draft with a clear need to bolster their defensive line, especially after a 2024 season where quarterback pressure and run defense remained inconsistent. Sitting at pick 23, general manager Brian Gutekunst has a chance to land a game-changing defensive tackle. 3 standout prospects, Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant, and Derek Harmon, offer distinct skill sets that could address Green Bay's needs using PFF defensive grades, quarterback pressure percentage, and run stop percentage from the 2024 season. Let's break down which defensive tackle might be the best fit. So the contenders, here we go. Walter Nolan, all right, right off the bat. PFF grade in 2024, 88.9 for Walter Nolan. Quarterback pressure percentage, 10%. And they kind of the AI went ahead and threw this into like a roundabout estimate. He may not have had exactly 35 pressures, but the percentage is definitely correct. Okay, 10% pressure rate, run stop percentage, 14%. Scouting report: a dominant 3-tech with elite power and agility at 6'4", 305 pounds, excels at collapsing the pocket, 10% pressure rate, and stuffing runs, 14% stop rate. Leveraging a quick first step and strong hands, his 88.9 grade reflects All-American consistency, making him a disruptive force against both the run and the pass. Shout out to H.E. Solder for the super chat. Those 3 substantially better defensive tackles than what you got to. Really, I'd like to hear them, Solder. Well, who are the other defensive tackles that are better than those 3?
I think that's what he's saying.
No, he's saying that
he's saying those are the 3.
Those 3. Okay. Oh, I got what you're saying.
He's saying Grant, Nolan, and
great for the Packers roster.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. My bad. I misread that. For Kentucky, that happens a lot. So,
I would agree, right? I mean, that's completely. A huge drop off once you get to like Darius Alexander and Tyleik Williams.
I don't think so, Tim.
Oh, really, Al? What do you think, Al?
we had a little practice yesterday when we looked at guys like Peebles and CJ West and my man Thor Griffith. I mean, granted, that's very deep in the draft for Thor, but some of those guys, some of those mid round guys, the reason I've kind of now I'm not saying turn my back on Harmon, but what I've kind of I think I listened to a podcast of Ryan's where he's like, he's only got 1 real year of production. He moved around from school, a couple different schools, and really never had any type of production whatsoever. And even the quote unquote year that he had production wasn't that much at all. People are like Chris right there saying Harmon is a slam dunk. I don't know if he is a slam if you look at just the 1 year out of 5. Yeah. If you want to cherry pick that, I think he's a slam dunk, but Walter Nolan was one of the highest recruited guys at that position coming out and has consistently played very well. There's just a little bit of the production scare that I get from Harmon investing in that 20th overall pick. If we can trade back, still get a Harmon or one of those 3 guys or somebody like that, that'd be even better. I'm starting to kind of pull up a little bit and, I've got recency bias. I don't want to just go in and be like, yeah, we got our 3-tech. And then all of a sudden it's like, we don't.
So. Exactly. And the thing with Harmon, like you were saying, he hasn't been as consistent. This year he had a higher quarterback pressure rate, which we'll get to here in just a second. But he also had a bunch of missed tackles. Like, he's not good at bringing down the ball carrier either. Like, you can get there. That's great. You guys remember that with Devontae Wyatt, Tim? I think it was not last season, but the season before. We were like, damn, he gets in the backfield, but he always whiffs on the tackle, right? That's something that Derek Harmon has had a problem with too. I heard Ryan talking about that as well. So, Tim, anything else you want to add to Walter Nolan here, or anything that H.E. Solder said there in terms of, I believe these would, maybe not year 1, it wouldn't be a huge upgrade, probably, but maybe not. But boy, by year 2 or 3, you expect one of these 3 guys to probably be better than what you're at right now,
Yeah, like you said, I mean, we're basically writing off Mason Graham. We're probably not in the mix for him. So I would go Nolan, then Grant, and then Harmon would be my next 3 in that order. And I do think that, to Jacob's point, there is depth at the position in the draft. I think there's significant enough of a drop between those 3 and then the next batch that, hopefully Walter Nolan is the guy. If not, maybe Derek Harmon falls in our lap somehow.
Yeah. All right. Next on the list, Kenneth Grant, PFF defensive grade, 83.7. All right. Quarterback pressure percentage, only 8%. Run stop percentage, 10%. Okay. Now that 8%, keep in mind, he is more of a nose tackle. However, he played more 3-tech than he did 1 and nose, right? Because obviously teams playing their nickel more than their base, simply because teams are in 11 personnel more than their typical 21, 12, or 13. So obviously Kenneth Grant, a little bit bigger body. He moves really, really good laterally. There's no 2 ways about that. But here's his scouting report. A massive nose tackle, 6'3", 340, built to anchor against double teams. His 10% run stop rate highlights his ability to clog lanes and hold ground, while an 8% pressure rate shows surprising bursts for his size. At 83.7, he's a run-first specialist with growing pass rush potential. So who did we lose? TJ Slayton, right? It almost feels like that dude, I can see where someone would make a case that, hey, this might be the guy. That way you can kind of fill TJ Slayton's role of that run stuffer while he, brings on that pass rush skill. Obviously, 8% was 2% better than Kenny Clark last year. So you'd already, if that were to translate to the game, to the NFL, he would be a better pass rusher than Kenny. I don't think he would once he got on the NFL field, at least right now. What do y'all think about Kenneth Grant here?
I mean, I kind of like what Ron says here. He goes, he has the most upside of this crew, in his opinion. I'm not sure if that's overall upside or if it's more to, I mean, if you want just a replacement for TJ Slayton, a guy that's going to be a steady Eddie in the middle there to stop and plug up that run game, I think that Kenneth Grant is probably that guy that would ascend to the top of the pack. If you're looking for somebody that's more of a pass rusher type, that's going to be a little more kind of twitchy, I'd say Derek Harmon. If you want the all-around best of both, I go Walter Nolan. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
I like it. Tim, what about you, big dog?
Yep, I'm co-signing all of that. I probably want Walter Nolan first, but yeah, if we're looking for that run stopper, replace TJ, I'd go Kenneth Grant for sure. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Walter Nolan's probably the best bet out of the batch.
Yeah, and not only are you just replacing TJ Slayton, who obviously didn't play a whole lot of snaps last year, but if we're moving on from Kenny next year, what has Kenny been doing? He's been playing one tech. He's been playing nose. Many people don't even understand that. He was the one that was predominantly playing nose last year and occupying those double teams. So if Kenneth Grant, you bring him on this year, Kenny continues to start. If we end up moving on from Kenny next year, or if he agrees to restructure that contract, great. You got two really strong noses. Well, Kenneth Grant could potentially step in there for Kenny if he leaves, and now you've got Devontae Wyatt if you decide to bring him back. Devontae Wyatt was hands down your best pass rush, interior pass rusher last year. Hands down. There's no questions. I think it was like a 9% pressure rate at defensive tackle, right? So that kind of bends right into that mold of, okay, this dude will step right in. Now, that's not to say that Carl Brooks and Kobe Wooden didn't play any nose last year. They did. There was times that when Kenny came off the field, they put them in a one tech. Devontae Wyatt, the majority of the time, did play a 3 or a 4 tech, like a 4-hour 3 tech, or even whatever, maybe even straight up on a 2 at certain points of the season. So I can see both sides of the coin. I don't think either of these three guys are bad picks. I want to be very, very clear. If someone disagrees with us and says, hey, Derek Harmon's the dude, I can see where you can make that case, right? So next is Derek Harmon, PFF grade 83.9, quarterback pressure percentage 16%. So he's got the highest pressure percentage of all these players that we mentioned, right? Run stop percentage 10%. Scouting report, a relentless pass rusher, 6'5", 320, with a 16% pressure rate, leading all defensive tackles with 55 pressures. His length and explosiveness disrupts quarterbacks, while a 10% run stop rate shows solid run defense. Graded at an 83.9. He's a high upside 3 tech with a knack for big plays. Now, again, the big thing that Ryan was talking about was the missed tackle percentage. I was trying to get PFF pulled up so I could give you the exact number, but that seems to be his weak spot. Is you can get into the backfield, but what we always talk about, how you arrive at confrontation, Tim, determines how you handle confrontation. Yep. And if you don't arrive under control and you miss tackles, that didn't do us a damn bit of good. You getting in the backfield if you're just going to whiff on the tackle. And that's what we've seen with Devontae Wyatt the first 2 years in the league. He seemed to fix that a little bit last year, but still not where it needs to be. But what do you think about Derek Harmon here, Tim? Anything you want to add to that scouting report there?
I think to your point, that comes with experience, right? So when you're dealing with a guy, coming out of the draft, if that's already a concern, it's something that you have to try and coach out of his game, right? We've seen it with not just edge rushers, but we've seen it with our linebackers, and we've seen it with defensive tackles too. You get the penetration, you get the rush, and you're not poised and you're not under control, and you wash yourself out of the play. And it's frustrating. I mean, we can talk about old Tommy Cutlets, right? Lighten us up. And, we make good quarterbacks look great. Bad quarterbacks look good when you're over pursuing or you're not disciplined in your pass rush. So,
Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah. So you gotta keep that in mind. But, Derek Harmon, to me, like, to echo your point, Clayton, like, I don't think either one of these three are bad picks. I think we all have our preferences or our favorites, but if you're talking about taking, defensive line in the first round, you can't go wrong with these guys, any of them, honestly, at this point.
You know what? To kind of get on the Derek Harmon defense case right here, when I pulled up his little bit of a deep diver grades here, so he was in Michigan State for the first 3 years. First 2 did not go necessarily great, but he did not have a lot of snaps. The second year he did, and he had a 59.8. Just didn't look like he performed well. It might have been a little bit too large for him. But the next year in 2023, he played almost 500 snaps. He had an 83.9 grade, run defense grade of 77.4. Again, the tackling grade was horrible. Or I'm sorry, this was last year in 2024 at Oregon. 83.9, run defense grade of 77.4, but the tackling grade of 29.8. A pass rush grade of 88.8. Again, we love that, but the tackling grade, guys, he had a 27% missed tackle rate. 27% missed tackle rate.
Put that into perspective, Jacob. Out of 100 plays, let's say there's 100 times, right, that he had an opportunity to make a tackle.
That's 27.
What's that?
That's close to 27.
That's a lot, right?
That's a
could
lot.
You imagine? I mean, seriously, could you imagine Packers Nation seeing that dude miss tackles every game in the backfield, and he's your 23rd overall pick? Like, I don't hate the pick because, like Chris and many others said, look, we need a pass rush, but man, that's huge. I'm glad you pulled that up.
Yeah, so. And the pass rush is he's consistent. His pass rush grades all through high school or college, even when he was playing limited snaps, the lowest grade he's ever had is a 68. But that tackle grade has been consistent as well. The best he ever had was 2021, a 72. Otherwise, it's been a 40, a 55, and a 29. That is real bad, guys. Real bad.
That's cheeks. That is cheeks.
That's cheeks.
Yeah. All right. Moving along. So we just put a little comparison summary here. So here it is stacked up against one another. PFF grade. Walter Nolen has the highest PFF grade at 88.9. Derek Harmon is second at 83.9. Kenneth Grant at 83.7. However, if you do look at the consistency factor, Derek Harmon, we just told you, not near as consistent across the last 3 years in college as where Walter Nolen was. Quarterback pressure percentage. Walter Nolen at 10%, Kenneth Grant at 8%. Derek Harmon leads the way at 16%. That's a big margin there too. Boy, here's the other thing. When someone has a high quarterback pressure percentage, but also a high missed tackle percentage, they're playing out of control. You guys remember on Chalk Talk, it wasn't this year. I feel like it got better, but the year before this last season, it was 2023, how Devontae Wyatt was just whopping people out of the play, his own teammates, because he wasn't playing under control. He was just completely out of control. That's what you typically see when you get those two metrics, those two stats merging together. And again, it's about collectively, how can the defense play as one? And when you got one dude who's literally rushing into other people's rush lanes, that's a big no-no.
That was Brenton Cox Jr. coming out of college. He had no discipline. He was just a freaking bat out of a cave, just a shot out of a cannon. Like you said, didn't care if he messed up anybody else's progression, their stunts, or whatever their progress was. He was A to B. And I feel like that's the biggest part of his game, where they've at least coached the selfishness out of him. So I wonder if we could do that with a guy, if that's the biggest knock on these guys. I think that maybe could be a little slice of humble pie when they get into the league.
And to defend Kenneth Grant here for just a second, when you're playing that nose, you're getting eat up by double teams a lot more. So when you see his run stop percentage of 10%, you're not necessarily expecting the nose to make the run stop. They're typically occupying a double team. They're eating two bodies so other guys can come in and make the play. That's much different than Derek Harmon and Walter Nolen both. Run stop percentage. Walter Nolen leads the way at 14%, Kenneth Grant at 10%, Derek Harmon at 10%. So they tied out there. I was trying to pull up. I've got Derek Harmon's pulled up, Jacob. I was trying to get to Kenneth Grant's because I want to see what his missed tackle rate was. Actually, I think I finally got it to pop here. Maybe
you said you want Grant's or Nolan's?
Grant's first here.
Okay.
I've got it right. I think I've got it pulled up now. I want to take a quick glance and see, because he may be just as bad. You know what I mean? In terms of missed tackle rate, I don't think he is, but let's take a quick glance here.
No, that's pretty freaking good.
Cow.
Bruh.
Here's the guy.
5.9% missed tackle rate for Kenneth Grant.
Yeah, his whole college career is an average of 4.6%. And that's substantial snaps, guys. I'm talking, wow. Okay. That just swayed a little bit more in his position for me there.
And that's why it's important to look at the whole picture, not just fall in love with one statistic, one metric, right? I'm going to Walter Nolan now, and let's see what his missed tackle rate was, because I feel like he was really, really solid as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kenneth Grant has a lesser one. Look at here. Yeah, Walter Nolan.
Wow.
4.3%.
Did you look at 2023 and 2022?
Mm-hmm.
What the heck? Yeah, 2023, he had almost 400 snaps. He has a missed tackle rate of 0.
That's crazy.
He didn't miss a tackle in 2023, almost playing 400 snaps.
Here's the guy.
And notice we haven't mentioned sacks, right? We haven't talked about sacks. Listen, sacks are important, don't get me wrong, but when you got to – it's how the cake is baked, right? Like, how are they getting those sacks is important. You could have a guy who gets 8 sacks but only have a 6% pressure rate, and then you got a guy who finishes with 6 sacks and he's got a 15% pressure rate, right? There's a lot that goes into that as well. So, all right, so here's what the AI says, breaking it down. Defensive PFF grade. Nolan's 88.9 edges out Harmon's 83.9 and Grant's 83.7, signaling all-around excellence. Harmon's close second suggests high impact, while Grant's grade fits his run-first role. Quarterback pressure percentage, right? Harmon's 16% stands alone, doubling Grant's 8% and outpacing Nolan's 10%. His 55 pressures dwarf the others, making him a quarterback's nightmare. Run stop percentage. Nolan's 14% leads, with Grant and Harmon tied at 10%. Nolan's 42 stops highlights his run stuff and dominance, while Grant's 35 stops anchor the line. All right, so it's fit for the Packers. The Packers' 2024 defense struggled to generate consistent interior pressure, often relying on edge rushers, and face issues stopping the run in key moments. At pick 23, the choice depends on priority. Walter Nolan is the safest pick. All right, I won't go back through the stats. It's just going to repeat them. It says he's a plug-and-play starter who could anchor the line for years, though his draft stock might push him higher than 23. Derek Harmon, the pass rush specialist. It says I'll just read the whole thing. His 16% pressure rate, 55 pressures, could transform the Packers' ability to disrupt quarterbacks from the inside, pairing perfectly with their edge threats at 83.9 and 10% run stops. He's no slouch against the run either. Ideal if pressure is the priority. I think that's why many people are picking Derek Harmon, is because they're prioritizing pressure. And listen, that's not a silly way to think. I'm just going to tell you right now. Based off what we've seen last year, the run defense improved tremendously, right? Still got a long way to go, but they improved a lot. You would say the run defense was the strength of the defense, obviously, compared to the pass rush. So that kind of makes sense why someone will want to go with Derek Harmon. It doesn't mean that either of these three are a bad pick. It's just simply, what are you looking for specifically? I'm looking for the safest pick. You guys have heard me say that over and over and over. Yeah. I am boring in that regard. I don't want to roll the dice. I want the dude who's going to do both well and hopefully do it well for the next 10 years. That's what I'm looking for. So the verdict says, if Walter Nolan is available at 23, he's the pick. His blend of run stopping and pressure with an elite 88.9 grade screams cornerstone defensive tackle. However, his stock may place him in the top 15, leaving Derek Harmon as the more realistic option. Harmon's 16% pressure rate and 83.9 grade offer immediate pass rush juice, addressing a glaring 2024 weakness, while his 10% run stops hold the line. Kenneth Grant at 83.7 feels like a day 2 fit unless the Packers trade back. That is not correct there, sir, in the AI department.
I was going to say.
Yeah, but for pick 23, Derek Harmon edges out as the best balance of need and availability, but keep an eye on Nolan if he slides. Gutekunst can't go wrong with either. They're both upgrades over the 2024 interior. So there you go. It's saying Walter Nolan probably not going to be there. If Derek Harmon's there, of the three, that's the dude to go with. So it does kind of feel like I'm drifting away from Kenneth Grant, even though our board suggested otherwise for a long time, right? Kenneth Grant is now in the 19 spot. He's still higher than Derek Harmon. So he's in the 19 spot, and Derek Harmon's in the 25 spot. So All right. Based off all that, any final thoughts on that topic right there, gents?
I definitely agree with the first part of the verdict. If Walter Nolan's available at 23, he's the pick. That's the guy.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Tim, do you think you would still go Kenneth Grant if it is between him and Derek Harmon, or do you after reading this article, seeing the kind of everything compared?
Oh, I mean, if it's between Harmon and Grant, I'd probably lean towards Kenneth Grant.
Would you? Okay.
But I'd want Walter Nolan or bust for sure in the first round if we can.
Yeah, definitely. And if both of those guys are gone, if both Walter Nolan and Kenneth Grant are gone, I'm okay with Harmon. Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like any one of these guys is going to help our football team, but clearly we have a preference. And, not only is Walter Nolan the safest pick, but I think he's probably got the highest ceiling out of the three.
Got it. Good stuff, man. All right. That's going to do it for that segment. Now let's hit, I think we got some breaking news here from Coach Lynn, don't we, boys? Somebody hit that for me real quick. Is that breaking news down there, Jacob, that you marked? There it is. Go ahead, Jacob. Take over, sir.
Coach Lynn says Packers met with a center today. That center's name is a man named Jacob Bear from Arkansas State.
Oh, boy.
It's pronounced Arkansas State.
Halfway there.
Marcus Goldenberg with breaking news.
That needs to be our correspondent. We need to create an AI voice, have you guys record that, let them completely mimic it, right? And we need to have a correspondent where I could just top something in to break news like that. That would be awesome.
Love it.
Jacob Bear from Arkansas State.
Yeah, let me take a quick gander here. I don't know if we got him.
Find him anywhere.
I heard he was related to the Bear family. Therefore, it's a.
Wait, was that that wasn't a top 30 visit, was it, guys? Did anybody hear if that was a top 30? Because they've already met with him once it's probably the Senior Bowl that they met with him. We've got him in the 110 spot. Boy, his PFF grades. Woo. 2023 he was second at his position. 2024 he was seventh at his position.
What?
Yeah.
Who is this
and
guy?
RAS of 8.
I can't even find him on PFF.
He's not on their big board.
That's crazy.
Yep, I agree. He was 284 when we took it down the consensus big board, but obviously he is the PFF grades shoot him right towards the top there out of Arkansas State. So, Coach Lynn, could you confirm, did they say it was a top 30? I could go to Twitter, but you probably answer it. It said top 30. There you go, boys. Let's go.
Look at that.
Oh boy, that's an interesting one. So maybe we do go center, right?
Arkansas.
I'm gonna give him the old target real quick.
So you did find him? I can't find him anywhere.
Yeah, he's not on the PFF big board. I had to look through the college grades, and that's where I found him. He was 59th at his position in 2022, second in 2023, and 7th in 2024. Matter of fact, let me just throw this up here real quick, and we'll show you where he's at on our board. As you can see him right here, and we're going to go ahead and hit him with the target there. So he's a top 30 visit. That's pretty cool, man.
What?
Yep, so we got him at 110. What's wrong?
Big E not moving to center, or?
Oh, they don't plan on starting that dude out of Arkansas State, I don't believe. I think what's probably going to happen there is
I was joking. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, if they go and draft him, it's kind of like what happened with Jason Kelsey in Philly, right? They drafted his replacement, and he sat for a couple years behind Jason Kelsey. Imagine if he could sit a couple years behind Elton Jenkins and then bang, maybe step right in. Plus, you got Jacob Monk, right? So
that approach works at more position groups other than quarterback. You can do that across the board, find success for sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I trust Coach Lynn here. Why Margin Cron say Senior Bowl? Are you saying he met with him at the Senior Bowl,
or did he have a good Senior Bowl?
All right, I'm going to Twitter. You guys talk to the chat for a minute. I gotta see if I can find this top 30 visit real quick. You guys go right ahead.
Greg Rice is saying Jacob Bear, inside offensive lineman, ranked 309. I still can't find it. I can't find it nowheres.
There's Easton Butler. Yep, we got it right here. The Packers are hosting Arkansas State center Jacob Bear on the top 30 visit. Coach Lynn said, "How dare you knuckleheads doubt me? I'm the coach in here." So there you go. Belt the ass right there. All right, cool. Let's
okay.
That's interesting, man. That's kind of a curveball. I like it though. I like it.
It's a curveball.
And I'd like to see his measurables too. Like I wonder I wonder what he measures out at. Like, you think he could play interior offensive line across the board? Maybe. I'm trying to think of a situation where if he came in and it was like gangbusters, he starts at center like Tim. I know he wasn't saying that, but just like he mentioned, what would that look like? That would be Rasheed Walker at left tackle, Elton Jenkins at left guard, Jacob Bayer at center.
Aaron
Morgan.
Banks at right guard.
Oh yeah, you got to go Banks.
Yep.
Jeez.
Zach Tom at right tackle. Build the wall.
Jordan Morgan's got nowhere to go.
Now, let me just say this. There have been people talking. I disagree with it because I don't have anything to back it up. You haven't seen it yet at the NFL level. But people are saying, what if Jordan Morgan is the left tackle of the future and they choose not to pay Rasheed Walker top tackle money, right? That could be if you go and get somebody like Tim, if you go and get somebody like this, hey, all right, he steps in and, and can play center fairly early. Not even the first year, right? Elton play it the first year, and then the second year, move it around to where Jordan Morgan takes over at left tackle. That's a way you could save on cap big time right there if you think Jordan Morgan could. That's a great point, Brambo. They met with him at the Senior Bowl and now a top 30 visit. So I'm going to see if I can pull Jacob Bayer up real quick. You guys keep
this is the good content.
I'm going to just say, honestly, I'm just calling them all offensive linemen because it doesn't matter what position they play.
It's true, Tim.
It does not matter. I mean, this guy's a center. I wouldn't be surprised if they try him as a backup tackle or something. We take, tackles and make them guards. We take guards and make them tackles. We take centers and make them tackles. And I don't mean specifically just the Packers. It seems to be kind of like a trend in the NFL. Like it doesn't matter where you play on the line in college. It's where they see you fitting in to their offense in the NFL. So, you're looking for the best available at your pick, and center, guard, whatever, interior, outside. It doesn't matter where are you going to put them, because we were excited about Jordan Morgan last year, and as soon as he landed in Green Bay, they stuck him on the interior immediately. Despite playing tackle throughout college. So I think at this point we just have to look at guys as just O linemen. Really look at the build and look at the measurables.
Greg I says, AI said college career. Bayer started his college football journey at Lamar University before transferring to Arkansas State. He has 46 career starts at center, showcasing his consistency and durability. Here's his PFF card. 2024 at 81.9. That was seventh best center in all of college football.
Wow.
You go back 1 year prior, he was second highest graded at 82.9. Consistency right there. And it looks like I was going to try to pull up. Let's see if it may go to another page here. So you guys can't see this yet, but I'm going to pull it up in just a second. I want to see make sure his snaps were all center. It sounds like they were, but I just want to double check. Sometimes AI gets a little goofy. It's a little bit goofy. What do you think about those, Jacob? Get you out of there, man. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's honestly, I'm a little bit upset that I can't find this guy. I don't understand how you can find him and I can't find him. I don't understand that. But anyways, those grades are amazing. Even if you go back to all the way to 2022, 69.6, that's nothing to shake a stick at. Heck, his first year even 60.1. I mean, that I can't be mad at that. Pass block rate at 81.9, run block rate at 81.4. I get right here. Bates maybe says suffered a torn ACL during the spring practices in 2024, but was able to return to action by the second game of the season, marking one of the fastest full ACL tear recoveries in college football history.
Here's a guy.
That sounds like somebody who's tougher than Buckets Goldenberg. Am I right?
Sure is.
That's awesome. Hey, keep an eye out, boys. Jacob Bayer, he's on the radar.
6'3", 310. He's built like Buckets Goldenberg too.
Seriously. Yeah. Big caboose on that guy.
Like that.
All right, yeah, and it looks like he started at center, all of last year. There wasn't any – I just wanted to double check because sometimes, a guy will be listed as something. Okay, he played 3 games as a left guard, what have you. But at 6'3", 310, you might be able to move him around a little bit. I don't know. But that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. It does sound like a Packer, though, doesn't it? Like someone.
Well, and apparently he does rock a mullet, and Ron give us the real details. It's a natural mullet. He often displays it with a cowboy hat.
Like this guy right here?
Either way.
Let's go find this cat real quick. Let's see if we can find a Jacob Bay. Oh, my God. You kidding me? I'm telling you, these are the guys that used to babysit me, boys. I'm just telling you right now. Where do you see that? Well, that's the Instagram post. I don't know if we should pull that up or not. Let me see here. Let me make sure it's clean here. It's making me log in. Dang it. Let me just screenshot it. Oh, in just a second. You guys are going to want to see this. I know what he was talking about now. This picture is intense right here. Keep talking, Jake.
Greg Rice says another breakdown of him says Bears projected as a mid to late round pick in the 2025 NFL draft and could provide depth and competition for an NFL offensive line. I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I had not found this guy yet. And it says right here, challenges Bears face some challenges, including a torn ACL during the spring practice of 2024. And he made a remarkable recovery and returned to action by week 2. Again, just shows the guy's absolute durability and the resilience there. That's really crazy timetable to think that he actually came back and was able to come back and score as well as he did. Let's go, man. Let's go.
That could be why he's kind of hopping on the radar here. I mean, like you said, look at the grades. He jumps off the chart. So, regardless of where you want to plug and play him on your line, I mean, you're getting a pretty solid prospect here.
Yeah, I mean, this is just screaming.
It's going to be a little bit blurry, boys, but this is the best I can do. I got to get rid of our mustache guy. Sorry, Tim. We're out of space again. It just is what it is. I want mustache, right?
I found fun.
Super Troopers is so good. Look at this guy right here.
Oh, yeah.
The future.
Mr. Steal Your Girl. That's what's up.
You imagine him and Sean Ryan next to each other. Let's go, dude. We got Nachi Ray and Cowboy Ray here. You gotta love it, man. All right. Well, we got completely off track there, but I'm glad. That's good information. Thank you so much for that, Coach Lynn. Breaking news right here on the show. You need to get out of coaching and get into reporting, bro. That's what you need to be doing. All right. So we hit Jacob Bayer. All right. We talked about all the important stuff there. We hit defensive tackle. Y'all ready to talk some wide receivers, boys? Y'all ready to talk? Which one do y'all want first? Do you want to break down a drop rate? Or would you rather have what's his name? Trey Harris's scouting report? Which would you rather have?
I was honestly going to say Trey Harris. I don't know why.
Let's do Trey Harris first, and then we'll come back to the drop rate. I think that's a good way to handle it.
And by drop rate, not our receiving core last year, right? We're talking about drop rate. Okay.
That is correct, Tim. Yes, sir. And, of course, it reset. Let's give it a second. All right, we good, I think. Yeah, all right. So here we go. I just put up a little write-up on Trey Harris earlier, and this was fun, man. He was a fun. I went back and watched several of his highlight reels and everything. This was Bucket Skoldenberg with the reporting.
Bucket Skoldenberg.
So Trey Harris out of Ole Miss, here's what it says, and I try to keep it as simple as possible. The Packers under GM Brian Gutekunst target athletic wide receivers with a relative athletic score of 8 or higher, blah, 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 blah. Here's the blueprint again. Quick reminder. Height, 5'11", okay. Weight, 187. 40-yard dash, 4.6. However, they typically go 4.5 and under, right? 10-yard split, 1.6. 20-yard split, 2.6. Vertical jump, 35 inches or better. Arm length, 31 to 32 inches. Hand size, 9 to 10 inches. And then wingspan, at least 76 inches there, right? Here's Trey Harris's combine card. 6'2", 205, ran a 4.5, 4.40 with a 1.5, 10-yard split, 2.6, 20-yard split, 38.5-inch vertical. So he knocked that out of the park. Arm length, you're good to go at 31 7/8. Hand size, 9 5/8. Wingspan, 77 1/8 of an inch. Says Harris's 4.5, 4.40 isn't the flashiest, but his 38.5-inch vertical and 10-foot 5-inch broad jump showcase serious explosiveness, earning him a 9.19 RAS, well above the Packers' 8 cutoff. So we talked about the speed, right? The explosiveness. We talked about it. The agility is the only thing that's really unknown. So the Packers like a sub 7.0 3-cone and a sub 4.3 shuttle. Harris didn't run these at the combine, but his tape shows good short area quickness for his size. We'll assume a 6.9 to 7.0 3-cone, solid enough to pass pending the pro day confirmation. Right in the range of the size, obviously at 6'2", 205. Mostly wide. Harris played 682 snaps wide, but he still had 172 in the slot. So a little bit of versatility there at a 4-to-1 ratio. He's a boundary weapon with slot versatility, aligning with Green Bay's adaptable deployment. So his top 2024 performance, okay, it wasn't against like this crazy good opponent, but listen to this. Trey Harris's best performance in the 2024 college football season came against Georgia Southern on September 21st, 2024. He torched the Eagles for 11 catches for 225 yards and 2 touchdowns, averaging 20.5 yards per catch. This monster outing highlighted his dominance as Ole Miss go-to target, shredding the defense with size, hands, and precision. The Rebels rolled 52-13, and Harris's career-high yardage stole the show.
How about these hands?
Career PFF grades. Tim, we always talk about players getting better every year, right?
Yep.
Listen to this. In 2021, he was at Louisiana Tech, 77.5. In 2022 at Louisiana Tech, he increased it to 77.8. In 2023, he transfers to Ole Miss to the SEC from Louisiana Tech, 88.5. His first SEC season, he delivered 985 yards and 8 touchdowns with a big jump in efficiency and impact. Then in 2024 at Ole Miss, 89.7. He increased again.
Yep.
Through a standout season, Harris piled up 987 yards and 6 touchdowns, proving his consistency despite injury setbacks. All right. It says verdict above the line. Harris's explosiveness and size are elite. His speed fits and his metrics soar past the Packers' 35-inch vert and RAS of 8+ standards. He could be a fit at pick 54, physical, versatile, and ready to ignite the offense alongside Watson and Reed. His 4.54 40 might nudge him behind pure speedsters, but the full package screams Packers wide receiver. What y'all think about Mr. Trey Harris? Do you think he'd be worthy of that 54th pick?
Why did he only play 8 games last year?
They said he had it.
Injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says right here. Yeah.
That's why I lean towards my guy, Jaden
Who,
Higgins.
Tim? Say it loud. Say it with your chest.
Jaden Higgins at
All right, that's-
54. Iowa State. Let's go.
There you go.
But
That's
no,
good.
Trey Harris though is definitely a viable option as well. I'm just kind of being a little sarcastic here, you know. I mean, just because he had, you know, injury issues doesn't mean he's going to carry that with him to the NFL. So you got to look at a guy like this for sure. I would definitely not be upset at all if he became a Packer.
Yeah, and like Drew D points out, you know, college season's only like 11 games, right? You know,
Yep.
not including the playoffs. So, yeah, very good point there, Drew. Jacob, you got anything to add to the Trey Harris talk here, man?
Yeah, I mean, you know, only played 8 games last year, but those games were pretty darn elite. Absolutely crushed it. 89.4 receiving grade, 5.12 yards per route run is insane. Drop rate of only 7.7, contested catch rate of 61.5, and get this, a grade versus man coverage of 95 flat.
Now, what did we struggle with last year, right?
A
Yep.
little bit of man.
Drop passes and man coverage.
And this guy was just a hair off of having 1,000-yard seasons each of the last 3 years. I mean, averaged over 18.3 in 2023, averaged over 17.2 in 2024. All he does is produce. You sign me up. I want.
He was the
him.
best guy around.
Harry Cheese says, hey, why do you got to choose between the two? Are we double dipping here at wide receiver this go around? Listen, I don't think there's a spot on the roster for 2, especially with the addition of Mecole Hardman. Not that you couldn't cut him. I'm sure that's just going to be a 1-year, probably $2 million deal, something like that. But I kind of feel like Goody's going to take 1. That's kind of where it feels like it's at right now. But who knows, man? Could be the case. Could you imagine getting both of those guys? Getting Trey Harris and Jaden Higgins in one draft?
Oh my goodness. McCall Hardman's not making the team then. Sorry.
Exactly. All right, that's going to do it for hour 1. For those of you listening on the pod, we're going to return with a really cool wide receiver breakdown on all the wide receiver prospects in the entire draft here in hour 2. We appreciate y'all. All right, welcome back into hour 2. Let's do it. We got something else here on tap. Now, Jacob, you said that 7.7%, decent drop rate, right? Not bad, not horrible, right? I mean,
I'll take that. Yeah.
And when you hear a drop rate, you think, okay, well, that's high or that's low. Look at the production too. Like, look at how were they attacking defenses with him. You're going to have a higher drop percentage when you're taking shots a lot, right? That's something to take into consideration as well. But what I did earlier, I did a breakdown. Like, you guys know, the biggest issue, we just talked about the 2 biggest issues for the Green Bay Packers last year were wide receiver drops and their inability to get open in man coverage. Now, I believe it's personally a lack of double move route combinations. That's part of it as well with man coverage. However, you go and get a guy that can beat man coverage. You find yourself in that situation. Now what you want to do is try to get him isolated to where it's one-on-one coverage. And then when they start bracket covering, that's where other things can truly open up, where you can run away from that bracket and gain that +1 hat count. Now the running game's often going, right? But so we did a breakdown here, and Tim's going to love this picture I got at the top here, boys. Look at that right there. Look at that guy right there. Here's how to improve Green Bay's drop problem while adding another weapon. That's what I titled the article, okay? I actually wrote this one out myself, okay? And it's real short.
Here's the guy.
It's no secret the 2024 Green Bay Packers struggled with drop passes all season, even with the addition of free agent Mecole Hardman. General Manager Brian Gutekunst will be looking to add at least one draft choice to the receiver room. Listed below is every wide receiver prospect from our PTA Big Board as of March 24th, 2025, in the order of their grade, along with those same players sorted by lowest drop percentage. Let's see who separate themselves from the pack. So on the left, this is our PTA Big Board, the order in which these receivers are ranked, okay? And you see the drop percentage next to it, like Ted McMillan, 7.7%. Luther Burden's our second best receiver on the board, only a 4.7% drop rate. Emeka Egbuka, 5.8%. Matthew Golden, 6.5%. Trey Harris, 7.7%. We just talked about him, right? Xavier Restrepo, which, by the way, boys, today, Lord have mercy, that 40, that was ugly. He ran a 4.8?
He jogged his 40.
4.7, 4.8, 40, whatever. And it's crazy as his drop rate's 2.8%. So, again, which would you rather have? Someone who's going to drop a few more passes but have that explosiveness to hit those explosive plays that we know is important. Every time you hit an explosive, it triples your chances of scoring on that specific drive. Or do you go with a guy who's slower but catches the football? You know what I mean? Both have the pros and cons. Yep. I think most GMs would lean toward, hey, let's try to amp up the explosive plays. So Jaden Higgins, though, Tim, 2.2% drop rate, bro.
Yeah.
2.2%. Jalen Royals, 5.2%. Elik Anyamanor, 8.7%. And Jack Besh at 1.6%. So, again, that is ranked in terms of our PTA Big Board. Look on the right now. And these are the guys who led in drop percentage, meaning the best, the lowest drop percentage, okay? And I'm assuming this is right. I went through and handpicked these and double-checked them with my own two eyes on PFF's website. It had Elijah Badger at Florida, 0% drop rate. Ty Robinson at Ball State, 0%. Jeremiah Hunter at Washington, 0%. Isaac Tesla out of Arkansas, 0%.
Tesla.
Huh?
Tesla.
My bad. I apologize there, sir. You ain't been keying no cars, have you, Jacob? I need you.
Down there in Arkansas.
All right. Joey Hobart, Texas State, 1.4%. Jack Beck, 1.6%.
Bish.
Pat Bryant, Illinois, 1.8%. Caden Prather out of Maryland, 1.8%. Jaden
Higgins, Iowa State, 2.2%.
And Efton Chisholm, Eastern Washington, 2.4%. All right.
This receiving is tough.
The goal here is you want as many guys on the left in the top 10 or the top 20, right up there on the right side as well. That's where you're really zeroing in on, okay, these are the dudes that graded, that set really, really high on our big board, but also had an extremely low drop percentage. That's kind of the home run picks, right? And as you scroll down, I included the whole list. I was late for dinner, man. He was ready to kick my ass, but we got all the numbers in just to kind of give you an idea of where everybody is. You could pause the screen and see, right? But we're going to get to the point of this whole article here, which I thought was fascinating, man. So here's what we came up with, guys. Final word. Y'all going to love this. This is the way I set it up, too. I said, now let's zero in on which players make the most sense at these specific spots in the draft based off of our PTA big board, right? Like they might be around at this time. Although drop percentages and everything, below are 4 wide receivers who could be great value at the suggested pick. Round 2, pick 54, hands down, above Trey Harris, in my opinion, Jaden Higgins, I would say.
Here's the guy.
With that drop percentage, he's officially – I'm going to keep our board the same way, but my personal opinion – based off of drop percentage as well as where they're both located on the board, and you take into the size factor that Jaden Higgins is 6'4", Trey Harris is 6'2". They both run about the same speed. Jaden Higgins would be my dude at pick 54. That's where I'm at. From a fan right here. Round 3. People are like, how much did Tim pay you to say that? But, round 3, pick 87, Jack Besh. Could you imagine getting Jack Besh with the 87th pick?
Yes.
That might be your double dip if he's there. And again, that's because he's sitting around that spot on our big board. Guys, Jack Besh may go at the top of the second. We don't know, right? But that's another way of looking at it. Round 4, pick 124, Pat Bryant will be a solid out of Illinois, right? So if you miss on Jaden Higgins in the second and Jack Besh is there, you still feel pretty good about getting Besh with 87, right? If you miss on both of those guys, Pat Bryant might be a 4th-round pick you're looking to nab, right? And then, of course, in round 6, pick 198, if you're looking for just a late-round dude that might end up popping, Elijah Badger out of Florida had a really good drop rate as well. There's both of them.
I just caught the ball.
So what do y'all think of that breakdown? Do you think there's any value in that? And be honest with me, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I was just sitting there looking at, like, let's look at what the entire information says, all the information on the big board says, and then let's go find those guys who have the lowest drop rate. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. You're not getting any arguments out of me on Jaden Higgins at 54. I'd be cool double dipping at receiver as long as we knock out defensive line in the first round for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this kind of lines up perfect. Like, what this tells me, Jacob, is you don't have to go after that Matthew Golden in the first round or even Tet McMillan. Like, we're all over Tet McMillan because he's so high on our board, right? But the 7.7% drop rate, maybe you get better value in Jaden Higgins in the second round. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I would say that would make this I wouldn't say worthless exercise, but one that would make me scratch my head in the opposite direction is, granted, the way that the Packers organization likes to pick players is we like to pick guys that have big drop rates with high upside.
It's true.
And it's like, so I'm looking at the opposite side of this list being like, all right, please
that
don't.
Screams Trey Harris.
Well, and I mean, I've highlighted, this has been one of my big things was I looked at the drop rate. That's why Pat Bryant jumped off the board to me. It's why Jack Besh jumped off the board, why Higgins jumped off the board. But the Goody, the front office there, they seem to have that mentality of we can change him. We can change him. Mm-hmm. All we need you to do is just, go on a couple of dates. We can change you, buddy. There you go. There it is. I mean, if you even look towards down, can we scroll down just a little bit here? Yeah. Even guys like we've talked about Torrey Horton. I know Tim and I really love that guy there. Luther Burden's right there. Jalen Noel. Brew McCoy, there's another guy that shows up again. One of them that a little underrated there. But if you scroll just a little bit farther, if you could, there's our Jalen Royals. There's our Nick Nash. There's Rock Taylor, Emeka. I mean, there's guys. There's guys.
There's guys. That's right.
Guys.
That's right.
I don't even know what, like, and I'm kind of putting you guys on the spot. Now I'm asking because I don't really have an answer. In the chat, let me know what you think. What would be like a drop percentage where you go, okay, anything there or
8 or below
is good. 8 or below, is that what it is?
That's kind of what I'd like, yeah.
Hey, there you go. So Trey Harris would be okay. I'd be okay with either of those guys. I still stand there. I'm just saying, based off this, that's significantly better drop rate with Jaden Higgins. Now, keep in mind, where did Jaden Higgins play football? Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State. Yeah.
Where did Trey Harris play? Ole Miss, right?
Ole Miss, yep.
You've got to take that into consideration too. That's why I'm okay with either of them. I really am. Let's see here what Coach Lynn says. He's the receiver. He's the receiver specialist in here. I see my name mentioned by Carl. I'm like, oh God, I did something wrong, but I think it was a positive. Okay, cool. Thank you. Coach Lynn, there are some dudes for sure. Kyle Williams is another one to watch. Where's Kyle on this list? Did he pop out at all? I'm trying to think. I can't remember.
No, I think that he was a little bit farther down.
A little bit lower.
Right there,
37. There's been, would you 37? Yeah, there you go. 6.7. So that's below that 8%.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad. I'll take that. Not bad
at all. It's interesting, man. It really is. Now, when you go to the bottom of the list, is there any names here at the bottom with this really, really high drop percentage that you go, oh man, I thought he was a pretty good football player? You keep hearing
Savion. I was gonna say Savion. He's massive. That's another 6'5", 6'4" type guy. But
Ja'Cory Brooks out of Louisville, another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one we mentioned, right?
Elik's up there a little too high for my liking. Same with Chimera Dyke.
Yeah, Ricky White, UNLV, another
Ty
guy
Felton.
that I like.
Hey, look at Dante Thornton falling below 8%, boys. What do you think about that? It's a speed demon. He's lower on our board, isn't he? Am I thinking right? As it sits right now. And again, we got some more. Actually, where's he at? Dante Thornton on the wide receiver list. Is he higher than that?
38th.
38.
Oh, you're talking on the other side.
Yeah, I'm looking left here. I'm just trying to remember where he was ranked amongst wide receivers on our big board right now. Dante Thornton.
Man, where is he? All right, there. 31, 32. Is that where I saw him?
Okay, cool. There you go. So he's the 30th best receiver on our board. So that might be a really late round guy too, that you go, okay. So that's cool that you said 8%. I never really got kind of a visual on that. Jake Shavink, I seen him in the chat. Jake, if you don't care, what do you think is an acceptable drop percentage, man? Are you kind of like Jacob, 8%, or are you a little more strict, maybe a little more lenient? How do you feel about drop percentage? Where's the cutoff where you go, man, that's just too much there. That's too much. Let us know in the chat. You guys look for that. I'm eager to see what he has to say there. But Tim, you got anything else to add to the receivers, man? Again,
Kyle Williams. I'm looking up his numbers right now. Almost had 1,200 yards last year. 70 receptions, 14 tutters, 17.1 yards per reception. 13 games, graded out 79.9. I think Coach Glenn's onto something here.
Look at what Deadfish said too. Elijah Badger. I don't know why I didn't think he was that athletic. I mean, I don't know much about the guy, but probably because he played for Florida, who has been down the last few years. But said Elijah Badger, 6'1", 200 pounds with a 4.43 40, 9.3 RAS score, and he's one that we're looking at going, boy, if he's available, you imagine getting him in the 6th round, hell, even the 5th round. That might be one to look for as well. I was going to see too. Where these guys, who the Packers have met with, maybe we can really zero in on who they might be looking at. I'm going to keep that up so I can see that, but I'm going to tell you guys who the Packers have already met with wide receiver-wise off this list. So the list of 4 is Jaden Higgins. We have met with Jaden Higgins, right? Jack Besh, right? Jack Besh we have not met with to the best of my knowledge so far. If you guys have other information, let me know in the chat. Pat Bryant, we have not met with.
Oh.
And then Elijah Badger is significantly lower on our board. He is, mainly because of the PFF big board at the end of the college football season. But we have not met with him. So of this list, only Jaden Higgins is the only player that I know of that the Packers actually met with. There you go. Thank you. Jake Shavink says, I think around 10% is where that concerning conversation starts. Yeah. So Jacob's 8%, probably pretty good little sweet spot there.
And if you're, going through PTSD from the drops last year, you're probably somewhere near that 5 to 6%. If
good
you're
Lord,
trying to stand on it, But I'm with you guys. I think 8 to 10% is fair.
Look at what John Smith had to say.
See, this is what I'm talking about, right?
Dontravion Wicks had a drop rate of 27. Dontravion, dude, I know I do this for a living. Wicks had a drop rate of 27.3, the second highest mark among all receivers according to PFF. Good Lord.
Every time he hits it, I have to wait for him. You guys got to understand something. That's a continuous soundbite. Tim intentionally every time hits. It could be a crackhead, and then he hits pause and waits for the second part. Now, I'm just telling you, that's the reason he's the producer of this show. News. Tim knows what the hell he's doing with the crackhead drop. All right. So since we're talking 27% drop rate, I guess none of these guys qualify for us, right? Is that what we're saying?
Good Lee.
That's wild. Yeah. But then what did Goody see though was he seen them feet. He was like Rex Ryan. He said
RAS scores.
Yeah. Well, I think he was looking at that route running on him. Man.
Unfortunately, there you go.
Yeah, Puka at 6%. Flowers was at 9% in the 2023 class. Addison was 3.3%. Jordan Addison was my best receiver that year, and I got laughed at. And I was like, I'm just going to go back and hide. Now everybody makes fun of me because I said Jordan Addison was the best receiver that year. But 3.3%, obviously, the drop rate's important to me, man. It really is. All right, cool. You done with this list? Anything else you want to look at here?
I'm done with it.
All right. So we didn't hit our goal for a mock, right? Do you guys want to do a mock, or would you rather do a quick little history segment? What would y'all rather do? I'm going to let y'all make the decision and let them hate you and not me.
We just did a history segment recently.
Mm-hmm.
Buckets Golden Bag, if you remember correctly. I feel like even though the people are a bunch of cheapskates, just like me, no hate.
Here's the guy.
Jacob would never have thrown a super chat up. He would never have.
If you could do a 1 cent super chat, I'd give you 100 today, bud. All right.
All right, what do we want to use? Do we want to use the?
You got any of them 2 for $1 super chats?
Do y'all want to use the mock draft database?
Yes, let's try that one.
All right. We've used it the last few times, and it's been fun. I feel like it works pretty well. Give me just a second. I gotta zoom out. Y'all's old asses couldn't read the screen, so I zoomed in the last time I was on the site. So talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna get the mock draft simulator set up real quick, boys.
That is sad, just so you guys know behind the scenes. Anytime this happens, it means me and Tim are going, what does that say?
Yeah.
A couple old men.
Yeah, hey, this is a real thing, guys. Coach Len, thank you for bringing up the real needs of this podcast. He says, can we bring back the conspiracy music drop?
No, we can't because the algorithm hates us.
Y'all gonna be mad. Y'all gonna be mad at me. I think I
Why?
lost it. That little clip I put together. I think I created that, by the way.
Why would you do that?
Right, Jacob, man, I'm a busy guy, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Jeez, oh Pete, man. Tim, I'm abused on this show every day, dude. Every day. And I'm
Only
sick
by
of it.
Jacob, though.
Super
That's true. All right. Let's do this. Y'all ready to roll? Can y'all see that okay?
You ready to go?
What in the world? All right, that's better, ain't it? We good?
There we go.
All right. Let's get this party started. 7-round mock. Let's try to go quick. Well, we got 20 minutes. We're good, right?
Yeah,
Chat,
yeah.
I know y'all fired up. Let's do it. Here we go. And today, Cam Ward obviously had his pro day. Looked like that went fairly well from what I've seen. I didn't hear any bad reports there other than Xavier Restrepo still running his 40-yard dash. They had to take a lunch break before they clocked.
What kind of a trade proposal is this? Come on.
What about that one? We're rejecting them all. It don't matter.
Yeah.
All right, here we go, boys.
Jade Barron, run the card.
Yeah, there you go. It's gonna be the fastest.
Well,
mock
but
draft.
hold on for Jake Shavink here. Oh, here he is already. You just smelled
Colston
it.
Loveland.
Colston Loveland was in.
Loveland.
It's like a shark with a tiny blood of water.
There he is. He's there, boys. It's a suggestion too. Imagine that.
Well, look, Harold Fanning's there as well. Is
That's
there?
a reach though at 23?
Yeah.
All right. So here for I keep forgetting we got a podcast going. I'm sorry, guys. Y'all probably already turned it off. Shamar Stewart is available. He's in the 13 spot. Again, we're picking at 23. Jade Barron at 16. Jahad Campbell, 17. Colston Loveland, 19. Tyler Booker, 24. Josh Simmons, 25. Let's just look at receivers since we've been talking about it a lot. Emeka Egbuka sitting there. Luther Burden, Trey Harris,
Look at Jade.
Aiden Higgins. Those guys are coming up, right? So there you go.
D-line.
Yeah, D-line.
We'll take a look at D-line. We've just done the breakdown, right? Based off everything we covered tonight, or either of those guys there, they are not. It's Darius Alexander, Tyleek Williams, Alfred Collins, TJ Sanders, Deion Walker, Omar Norman Lott. All three of the guys we talked about earlier are gone. Out of here. So it kind of feels like you got to shift your focus back to edge or corner, right? Yep. For me, I'm with you, Tim. I'm just going to go ahead and say it too. This is Jade Barron for me.
Yep.
I would take Jade Barron here.
Is there any? If this was real and we had these prospects, I would definitely be team trade back. But I just don't want it to get wonky with doing trades in this draft. I say we stick and pick. We go Jade Barron, and we're happy about it.
All right, everybody on board with it? We good?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Jade Barron with the 23rd pick, cornerback out of Texas. I love that pick, man. And yeah, for a quick reference here, if I can get, I can't sort my board. Never mind. I was going to give you guys an idea of where we had Jade. We won't do this for every pick, but I just want to get a quick glance here if I could.
Coach says, would this be the pick even if we kept Ja?
Yes.
If this is how the board fell, I would say yeah.
I think so too. It's either that or Shamar Stewart, right? And listen, I know many of us are anti Shamar Stewart because it's like, man, he didn't have quite the production we wanted in college. He's 16th on our board. He's higher than Jade Barron. Jade Barron's in the 21 spot. So it's just personal preference. I understand that whole, man, I don't know if I'd take Shamar Stewart over Jade Barron. But boy, oh boy, if you pass up on him and he turns into another TJ Watt, Goody is not going to be able to live that down.
Bro, I'm crazy. This is to move up one spot. They were willing to give us like 7 picks.
I'm not even looking at
Fake
it.
news. It's fake news.
That's what they did to me.
All right, best available: Benjamin Morrison, cornerback out of Notre Dame; Tyleek
Ooh.
Williams, defensive lineman out of Ohio State; Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame; Quishon Judkins,
JT. I like
Tuamaloa,
JT.
Elijah
Ooh,
Arroyo, Princely Umanemelin, Jalen Milrow, Marcus Imbo.
Marcus Bowe.
Wait a
Tulsa
minute,
East,
Tim.
baby.
Hold on, Tim.
Okay, there though, Tim. Jaden Higgins.
Here's a guy.
This is going to be tough, guys. This is going to be tough.
It ain't that tough. It's Jaden Higgins or it's our.
It ain't that tough.
I honestly would say
it's the
either
D
Princely.
tackle. Where's my D tackle? There he is, Tyleek Williams.
That's the thing. It's starting to drop off now, right?
Yep.
It really is.
Unless you guys want to take CJ West or Jordan Phillips later.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So let's see here. What do you guys think would be the best picks according to these options right here? And I'm going to look them up on our big board and kind of see where we got them. Obviously, Jaden Higgins, right? That's going to be your top receiver that you would potentially take here.
I like
looks like Trey Harris is gone, right? What's that?
Princely Umanellan. I like him.
Do you? Okay. Let me see where we got Princely. We got Princely in the 56th spot. All right. Jaden Higgins, we've got in the 58th spot. Tyleek Williams, we've got in the 37th spot, Tim.
Tyleek Williams. That's the pick.
What?
We're going to miss out on Jaden Higgins, right? So now it becomes that question of remember the exercise we just did in that article we read. You're going to hope for Jack Bech in the next round, right? That's what it comes down to.
Guys, we got McCole Hardman. We're good.
All right. Tyleek Williams, everybody agree? Oh, Jacob, you son of a gun.
Jacob Goldenberg, make your case.
Let's hear it.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Tyleek Williams.
Jake,
Look,
should be
Shabank's
10
already
passing
calling me
babies?
out.
What world is this?
I don't know.
Do we have any trade proposals?
Is there an option to trade back
Yeah,
if
like
possible?
if we could move back.
I think we already told him to go to hell, to be honest with you.
Just click the trade button up top.
All right.
Nah, never mind. Screw it. It's a bunch of
No, that's going
bull hockey.
Y'all are out of control tonight, man.
All right,
I mean,
fine.
you know I want to take Jaden Higgins, but if we don't take Tyleek Williams here, what is our options going to be for D line?
It's not good. It drops off 6. He's the last one in this kind of
that tier, right?
Yeah, that tier. Well, let me see where we got TJ Sanders, because if TJ Sanders is sitting in the 63 spot, just to make sure.
I guess Tyleek's all right. He's very durable. There's just
all right. So listen to this. We got TJ Sanders in the 49 spot. So again, if we go receiver here, we could get Jaden Higgins. Looks Jack Bech is going to be gone. It looks like that's kind of a pipe dream there. Now we're looking at our fourth. Who was our fourth round? Was it Pat Bryant that we said, hey, we might like him?
Yep.
Torrey Horton.
Was it Torrey Horton? What was on the short list?
It was Pat Bryant. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was Pat Bryant. Yeah.
Pat Bryant and then the kid from Florida. What was his name? Is he already gone? He may already be gone. Yeah,
Elijah Badger's. No, he's not. Elijah Badger's still there.
Is he?
He's way down there. Way down.
Oh, way down.
Yeah.
Elijah Badger.
Not that far. He was around like the 400s.
He was around what, 400? You said
right there. Yep. You just
right there. He said.
I'm just saying the chat wants Higgins.
Right there. 327 is Elijah. Yeah.
So we could definitely get Elijah Badger later. You say the chat wants Higgins? Is that what you said, Tim? Let's let the chat make the decision. This is tough, right? Let's let the chat make the decision. Chat, no reason why. Say the name you want right now. Tyleek Williams or Jaden Higgins. Which of those two do you want? Trudy, JT. All right. Coach Lynn said JT.
JT, yeah.
Fred McFarley said TJ Sanders. Tyleek, God, everybody.
Can you go back up?
Mm-hmm.
Just see the best available of everybody.
Yep, Tyleek Williams is definitely the best available.
Gosh, I tell you what, I might be on the JT as well if I really had to.
It looks like everybody likes JT. Rob in here. I can't. Rob, I apologize for
Rob
you.
Westerman. There we go. There's a reliable source. Jaden Higgins. Book it.
I'll take Higgins. Let's go.
All right, we're going Higgins. That took a little time. Jake started the pressure, and everybody finished it off. Here we go. Jaden Higgins, pick 54.
He was the best guy around.
All right, let's see who's up
Another
next.
mock, another Jaden Higgins in the second round. Let's go.
Let's see if Besh was actually there now. He is
No,
gone.
look at that though. Oh, he could double
Wyatt
dip there.
Malone.
I love Wyatt Malone. I do.
Yep, so here's the best.
Man, you don't want to take Jalen Noel? Let's get both them Iowa State receivers.
Double dip, bro. We could double dip.
So we still haven't got a 3-tech, right? Let's look at D-line.
CJ West.
At pick 111, right? So he'll be gone at 124.
Dude, Shavink's in on it. Higgins and Noel back together again. Let's go.
God almighty. Let me see what we got Noel. I'd really like to know what we got.
Omar Norman Lott might be a good pick too here.
We got Noel in the 114 spot. So it'd be a little bit of a reach for us right here according to our board. Would you say Norman Lott?
Yes, sir.
Check out Norman Lott real quick. We got Norman Lott at 125. That's a reach.
Where's Josh Farmer?
I don't like Josh Farmer. I don't understand the Josh Farmer stuff.
We got Joshua Farmer at 194.
Okay.
CJ West. I feel like CJ West was fairly high. CJ West 111. That's getting better, right? So let's go best available again, and we may end up going offensive line.
Where's Wyatt Malum? Real quick.
I feel like Wyatt Malum. He
For a while
he was pretty
50s,
high on
wasn't he?
our board. Yeah, we got him in a 63 spot. This looks like
I feel like that's
pick right there.
Wyatt.
Yeah, it's got to be Wyatt Malum. I'm trying to just take a quick peek here. Yeah, Wyatt Malum.
No 3-tech for us.
He's versatile as well. Some call it agile, mobile,
So
hostile.
Tim, keep in mind, don't let me forget that. We could have went Tyleek Williams instead of Jaden Higgins, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of the conflict. That's what really steered this whole mock in the direction it's gone. Not that I don't
Deion Walker, here we come, baby.
I think he's already gone, actually.
Really?
Let's see.
No.
Yeah, he gone, big dog.
Look at,
Wow.
remember Elijah Roberts too.
Oh, there's
Wow.
Peebles. Is that how you say his name, Peebles? I heard somebody say Paybles the other day. And I'm like, are they smoking crack or am I high? What's going on here? So,
Be a crackhead.
all right. So far, I listen. I don't hate this draft. Like,
You got hold to the wrong stuff.
I knew he was gonna do it.
we're sticking the best available here. So we got Jahdae Barron, Jaden Higgins, and Wyatt Malum. All right. Think in terms of need. We got corner. We're feeling pretty good about corner, right?
Got straight Ace. They called me Ace.
We got a receiver, we got an offensive
Straight
lineman.
B's, call me Buzz.
I feel like we're going to have to just buckle down and reach here for a 3-tech. Let's just see if any of these guys. I'm going to rapid fire through them real quick. All right.
I think
Peebles. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. 105?
Boom.
Let's
Run
go.
the card.
Boom, right there. That's it.
Done.
We did it.
Easy.
Let me just say here. Let me see. Peegs.
Peebles is top 100 on our board, isn't he?
He's borderline. Like I said, he's
Yeah, he's great.
105. Yeah. That's
105.
that's got to be the pick. That makes a lot of sense. All right. We're going to
Ish.
Aeneas.
Hey, D-line. Look at that.
He had 31 hurries last year. That's
Oh,
a
for
lot.
real?
True pass set, pass rush grade of 91.2 and a pass rush win rate of 17.8. He's better than Derek Harmon, guys. Pass rush grade of 91.2, run defense grade of 78.5. He's played 13 games of every single one of his seasons except for 2024, where he played 12. Let's go.
All right. Let's see here.
look
Jackson.
at Edge.
Yeah, Edge. You want to take a peek? David
David
Walker,
Walker.
Baron Sorrell, Tyler Barron, Fadil Diggs. We met with Fadil Diggs, right? Am I thinking right? I want to say
I
that was
believe so. Where do you have David Walker? A small school, but the guy's production is unbelievable.
David. Oh my God,
Good Lord.
94.
Yeah. Wait, that's his grade?
No, that's where we got him at 94.
Or his ranking, I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, we could get the 94th best prospect at pick.
Do y'all want to hear his grades too in high school
Let's
or
hear it.
in college? 2022, 92.9 with 11 games played. 2023, 88.6. 2024, 94.6 playing 12 games. He had 16 sacks, 9 sacks, 12 sacks. He had 37 hurries last year. Didn't have a single game below 66. Most of them, I've never seen anybody have more blue. Pass rush grade of 94 flat, run defense grade of 92.6, a pass rush win rate of 21%.
He was the
Huh?
best guy around.
Hey, listen, it checks out with our board, man.
6'2", 260. He's a little undersized, but he's got a
6'2".
basketball background. He's very agile.
Yeah, so he wouldn't meet the height threshold, right? If I'm thinking right. Although Clay Matthews was 6'2", I'm just saying.
260 though. That's thick. He's thick.
It is thick. Tim, what do you think, man? Would you be okay with that pick? Would you be okay with David Walker out of Central Arkansas? Small school, but boy, he made the best of it. We good with it?
Yes.
All right, what's the chat saying? They mad? Redraft, Ben Holden said. All right, let's do it. Let's go with David Walker. Edge. Look at that A+ right there, boys. You kidding me?
Let's go.
All right, so we got Edge. Here's a recap, all right? Recap of the draft. With the 23rd pick, we went Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas. 54, we went Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State. 87, we went Wyatt Malum, offensive tackle out of West Virginia. 124, we went Aeneas Peebles, defensive lineman out of Virginia Tech. 159, we went David Walker, edge defender out of Central Arkansas.
I'm loving this draft
Linebacker.
right
Let's
now.
look at linebacker.
Yeah, linebacker.
I think you're right, boy. Let's see here. Check.
There we
Jack
go.
Kaiser.
Run it up.
Here's the thing. Jack Kaiser's a little short. He's a little light. I'm telling you, dude, I love this dude, man. He's one of my favorite in this draft. We get him in the 104 spot, dude.
Let's go. Run
I'm
that
telling
up.
you, there's going to be people there. He's too small. Okay. We're doing it anyway. I don't care.
Jack
Jack
Thomas.
Let's go.
Show him that A+ and tell him to go
Look
away.
at this, dude.
It's pretty solid. Pretty solid so far. All right, let's go back to all. So, again, recap. Jahdae Barron, Jaden Higgins, Wyatt Malum, Aeneas Peebles, David Walker, and now Jack Kaiser at linebacker. So, best available.
Well, we're at round 7. Let's pull up quarterback.
You know, just take a look real quick. No.
Curtis Rourke. Hey,
I think we actually met with Roy, if I remember correctly.
I wouldn't mind that. That guy graded out very, very well.
I'm going to say to hell with the quarterback for a second. Let's look around here.
Nice.
There's Gadsden.
Rondé Gatson. Here's a guy.
Take him. Run that up. Run that up, dude.
Rondé Gass. I'm just trying to see if any other names catch our attention. There's Riley Mills.
Cody
Nick
Simon,
Nash.
Troy Dyke, Nick Nash, Mello Dotson.
So how many picks do we got left here?
2.
Two.
Show us.
Just scroll over on your other side.
237 and 250.
We need to scroll over on the other side. What are you talking about?
Scroll down and see your future picks. There you go.
Yeah, right there.
237 and 250.
So I would really like to get Elijah Badger with that last pick.
What about Thor Griffith?
It could be. We'll see which one ranks higher on our board. Okay. So right here, who did we just say? Rondé Gadsden.
Rondé.
Let me double check. Pretty high on it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we got him in the 98 spot, boys.
Oh boy.
That's at 200. God,
I mean, he's no Colston Loveland, but
Look at this draft, bro. This is
This is the one.
Ricky
So again,
White's
recap:
there.
Jahdae Barron, Jaden Higgins, Wyatt Malum, Aeneas Peebles, David Walker, Jack Kaiser, and now tight end out of Syracuse, Rondé Gadsden II. All right, wide receiver. This would be Elijah Badger, right? If he's there, they're going to say this is a horrible pick. I guarantee it. But I really like the idea of getting Elijah Badger this late.
He went. Somebody
Did he
picked
go
him
already?
Yeah, he was
He
in the
gone.
three.
Wow,
Yeah, he was
that's
in the
interesting.
300s.
Somebody else called.
Hey, look
on.
at there though. Marcus Weir would not be a bad
Marcus
pick
Weir is not a bad
at
pick.
all.
I think this is going to set it off right here.
Who's right
boys.
below them? Hold on. Look
We
who's
got
right
him at
below
2.
that. Jonah
Jonah
True
Monheim.
center.
Let's see here. Jonah Monheim is in the 131 spot. That's our best pick so far. All right. 131. I'm trying to see these other guys here. There's Jacob
Sean.
Bayer we just met with.
Johnny
Right?
Walker Jr.
Oh my gosh. Y'all know what we just did, boys? 110, Jacob Bayer.
Is that
So-
better than the other guy? Jonah?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. 110. Let me double check. I already forgot. Jonah Monheim is 131. Yep. So Jacob Bayer would be
Jacob
higher.
Bear.
So Jacob Bayer is the pick as of right now. Anybody else grab your attention here, boys? Anybody at all?
Not really. No, man.
No,
That's
you
it.
can't go wrong. Can't go
is-
wrong building the trenches.
Yeah, I
Pick
agree.
Another old lineman.
Yeah, I think it's Jacob Bayer here, boys.
Dalton Cooper.
Unless there's any more D line. Any D line up there?
There's Nick Nash.
Let's take a look. Riley Mills.
Tonka Hemingway, maybe. Cam Horsley. I like him.
Yep, Boston College. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, I think I think you got to go with our guy here.
O-line, interior O-line here.
Yeah.
Either the center or the guard,
Yeah,
Marcus Weir.
I think we go Jacob
Or-
Bayer here, boys.
Or Bear. Yeah, Bear.
That's the highest on our board so far that I've found.
Arkansas State, run the cod.
The only other thing would be a corner because we only took one corner, right? And we just lost 3. I don't see anybody there that grabs my attention. Anybody grab your all's attention? I feel like they're all
Central
gone.
Cypress would be the only one, maybe, but
Maybe Corey.
Corey Thornton.
Yeah, he's
Maybe.
low. He's 199. Yeah.
where's Ventrell Cypress?
Cypress. Let's see. We got him 333, Jacob.
Oof. Okay.
We got some information we need to put in, but it ain't looking good. All right,
Gotcha.
cool. There it is then. We're going with our boy that the Packers met with today, Jacob Bayer. And let's
I
see what
like
they-
that draft, bro. I really do.
Probably gave us a bad grade on Bayer, I would imagine, because he was ranked so low. But so the first round, here's how it laid out. It was the number 1 pick was Shedeur Sanders to the Titans, Cam Ward to the Browns, Dylan Gabriel.
Wow.
Number 2 to the Giants.
What?
Interesting. I have not seen that.
That is crazy. Armand Membo went all the way up to 4. Mason Graham 5, Ashton Gianti 6, Kelvin Banks 7, and Bill Carter fell to 8th. Of course, you get that injury we've been talking about. Will Johnson in 9th spot. Travis Hunter went to the Bears at 10.
Ugh.
Mike Green 11, Will Campbell 12, Malachi Starks 13, Ty Warren 14, Michael Williams 15, Matthew Golden 16, Walter Nolan went 17th to the Bengals. Ted McMillan fell all the way to 18 to the Seahawks. James Pierce Jr. 19, Kenneth Grant 20th, Derek Harmon 21st. So they went within 4
Right,
picks
look
of
at
each
that.
other.
Yeah.
Walter Nolan all of a sudden is the number 1 defensive lineman going there other than Mason Graham, right? Like it's wild how that's falling in place. And then Jalen Walker, edge, went right before us. We got Jahdae Barron. So with the full draft, where's the full draft? Here we go. Because we got to make sure that we try to save this. You can never, what I don't like about this, it won't let me put the whole thing on the screen, I don't think.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
I don't know why they do that, man. Spend all that time creating a cool database and screw it up at the end. So we went 23rd pick, Jahdae Barron, cornerback out of Texas. The Packers have met with him. 54, we went Jaden Higgins, wide receiver out of Iowa State. The Packers have met with him. 87, we went Wyatt Malum, offensive tackle out of West Virginia. I'm not sure if they met with him or not. 124, Aeneas Peebles, defensive lineman out of Virginia Tech. The Packers have met with him. David Walker at 159, edge defender out of Central Arkansas. Number 198, probably my favorite pick here, Jack Kaiser, linebacker out of Notre Dame.
Here's the guy.
237, tied into Rondé Gatson out of Syracuse. And then with 250, we went with Jacob Bayer out of Arkansas State, who we talked about is sitting right around the top 100 on our board, although he was significantly lower here on the consensus big board. So they gave us a C for that one. Other than that one, we knocked the rest out of the park, boys.
Nailed it.
I like that draft. I like that
I do
draft
too,
a
man.
lot. I like it a
I'm
lot.
going to hit save on it real quick. There, that's what I should have did. I could have just pulled that up on the screen.
Oh,
That's-
there you go. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and save that one for us so we know.
Email that over to Goody Stat.
Send it over to him, and he'll sprinkle that up, throw it in the trash, and say, get out of here, son. So, all right, boys, that's it. That was fun. Got us a mock draft, and we hadn't done one in a while. I'm trying to think of what all we covered. We covered wide receiver drops in that second hour. What else did we hit on? The breaking news came in the first hour. We did the Trey Howard scout.
We hit on the D line.
Yeah, we did that in the first hour too. I think that's all we did was wide receiver drops and then went straight into the mock, right? 7-round mock. All right, cool. Good deal. Anything else, boys? Let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I liked it.
That was fun.
Nice mock. Good work.
Learned a lot with the receivers too, man. Really, really did.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, that's it. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Shout out to the super chats. Chris the Casual In, thank you, buddy. Brambo, thank you. H.E. Solder, thank you for the super chat, sir. Thanks everybody in the Patreon group. We got more stuff coming out on it. We're going to be doing our draft contest here real soon, okay? And that's going to be something that's exclusive to the Patreon group. Also, next Saturday, this coming Saturday, we're going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to be giving away an autographed Mason Crosby card, okay? If you want to make sure that you're entered into that giveaway, here's what you do. You just got to be a member of the Patreon group. It's only $3. All right. It gets you access to all the extra content we're putting in there. Every report that you see us covering here, all the deep dives. I'm trying to do all of that or as much as possible in article form. We're archiving in there so you can go back. You'll have access to all those drop percentages, all that stuff. you'll have your hands on right there. There's a lot of other interesting stuff we're going to be doing here in the future with the Patreon group as well. We also put the YouTube members into that, but I keep telling people, guys, choose the Patreon group over being a YouTube member, okay? And the reason being is you get a lot more bang for your buck over there. For $3, you get access to all of this, all the chats. You can ask questions to the show, all that good stuff, okay? It's a way that you can DM me there as well. If you got something you need to let me know. If Tim pissed you off on the show, you can let me know in a DM, and I'll never pretend like I read it, okay? You know what I'm saying? So that's the way So, but yeah, appreciate everybody. Just scan the QR code in the upper right, or just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We'll see y'all tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central. Hey, seriously, I don't say this enough. Thank you to everyone. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. This show would be horrible if it wasn't for the chat and wasn't for the feedback. It's just a really, really cool community we've created here, and we're only getting started, man. The channel is going nuts. So again, thank you. Please don't think we take it for granted. But everybody have a good night. Talk to you soon.
And we go.
Bye, guys.